Shalom. I'd like to start out by giving all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakach Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of Israel. This is the Mayim in Atlanta, and I've got this article pulled up from News Target. Just came out recently, and it says Brazil's uprising is just the first of many we will witness in 2023 as humanity awakens against tyranny. And pretty short, I'm just going to read this first part here. The mass uprising in Brazil, which this is not the only one, they're rioting in France, which they typically are doing. They're rioting in Chile, and people are just unhappy throughout the world. And you can tell this is just a powder keg waiting to burst. It says the mass uprising in Brazil, which increasingly looks like a carbon copy repeat of the January 6th insurrection playbook run by the FBI, which, yes, that's one of the first things I thought when I heard about this, seeing this being a so-called election fraud and them rushing into the Capitol buildings. It looks eerily just like what happened 2 years ago here in the US. It says it's just one of many popular revolts we will see this year as large populations awaken to the truth about tyranny and genocide. And some of these points, I'll probably get this video taken down for going into them, but it's this is people awakening to the wickedness of the leadership of the world, awakening to the just pure evil of the elites and what they really want to do, which is to control the population, to control the earth and all its resources, and to keep their rulership going and moving forth. And so, I'm not going to go into this too much, but it is we're willing, not the only one we see this year, because this is the hopeful year that all the prophecies come to pass. So we are hoping to see this world just go down, because everything is just wicked and polluted, and we want deliverance, that being the hopeful elect of the Israelites, the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and anyone who comes from that seed line through their fathers. We want this world to burn. So, Lord willing, this isn't the only act of insurrection or revolt that we see. And the scriptures go into that. But the reason this is happening is because the wicked are in rule. The elite of Esau, Edom, that being the self-proclaimed Caucasians, the self-proclaimed white people. This is Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. And so when Yahweh Shai returns and the kingdom of the Israelites are set up, the people are going to be rejoicing with how the earth is flourishing, how society is flourishing, and just, not having pollution, polluted food, polluted water, polluted everything, because the elite have just completely defiled this earth, and the Lord said he's going to destroy those which destroy the earth. So their time is coming. It says, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And these insurrections, these uprisings, these protests, these are examples of the people mourning. Nobody is truly happy unless they just are just wicked to the bone and love the society. Even them, they are depressed and on all sorts of medications and psychological meds. They're not happy. They're the ones committing suicide. No one is happy. Even the animals are beaching themselves, and there's mass die-offs because they are not happy. And they're mourning. They're in mourning. The plants too, just the whole earth. We need a rulership change. We need Yahushua to come back and deliver us from the devil, being the Edomites. But this is all this is all prophesied to happen. So this is 2nd Esdras 15, and we're going to start at 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. Because we are about to see a time of trouble that we've never seen before, that the earth has never seen before. Worse than any of the world wars, or worse than slavery, worse than anything. It's going to be absolute evil, as in bad times. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. And so you're going to be seeing all sorts of wars, and civil wars, and race wars, and that's all in the very near future. Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men. And I've got that word sedition pulled up, or I did have it pulled up, which sedition is a rebellion, an uprising, a revolt, factitious commotion in the state. It's a concerted attempt to overthrow civil authority, violent strife between factions, civil or religious disorder, riots, rebelliousness against authority. And the authority that is in place, they need it. They don't have the people's best interest in mind. They only have their own greed in mind. And that's why we're seeing this, and why this will be happening, this sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. And these people that invaded the Capitol buildings in Brazil, and the people that invaded the Capitol buildings here in the U.S., that's an example of people not regarding their kings or princes. The kings being these politicians, the kings and princes being these politicians and the elite and the presidents and so on and so forth, the authorities, which goes into that word sedition. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And so these things are on the rise. Let's go finish this out with Habakkuk 2. We're going to go verse 5 through 8. Yeah, also because he transgresseth by wine, that wine being his philosophies, and this is speaking of the Edomites. He is a proud man, and the scriptures call him the most proud. Neither keepeth at home. And they went into how this the insurrection or the riots in Brazil were similar, or running by the same playbook that we saw here in the U.S. And it's just Esau's fingerprint on that. You can see one of his intelligence agencies actually going and setting that up, putting agents in there and driving strife to get these people to actually rise up and go out and invade their Capitol buildings, because they love chaos. That's how they believe that you bring order out of chaos. Ordo ab chao. Neither keepeth at home who enlargeth his desire as hell, because they are just greedy. It's never enough for them. And is as death, because wherever they go, they bring sin, and sin is death. And death, death never stops. The grave is never full, because people are always dying. And especially with the amount of sin that the Edomites bring with their philosophies and just their overall influence and ways of doing things. It says, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. And that's what they're trying to do right now, to make this this one world society. They're trying to do their reset and have everyone under the same umbrella. It's an example of heaping all people unto them. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. And that thick clay, going into that word, it's actually debt. And they've been keeping themselves in debt through the Federal Reserve System that they go around the world trying to set up, and keeping the people in debt. It says, Shall they not rise up suddenly, that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them, booties being a spoil, a treasure of war, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee. And so that's what is at the end of the line for them. They think they're going to heap up all these treasures to themselves and have this whole world where they control, but Yahushua has a different plan for them. The people are going to spoil them. Yahushua is going to spoil them, and they're just going to be spoiled forevermore for those 1,000 years of captivity until they finally are taken off the planet. The whole nation of the Edomites are taken off the planet through genocide, through burning up, as it said in Obadiah 1:18, because of men's blood. And they spilled blood in countless countries and countless nations. Spilled it indirectly through their philosophies, indirectly through their conquering and their wars, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. It says, Woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high. And that's what they're trying to do. Set themselves, these elite families, all the way up into a godlike position to where they're ruling over everyone and over everything. But their rulership and their ways just equal death, that he may be delivered from the power of evil, because this is their whole plan, to stay in rulership so that they are not judged for all of their sins since mankind's been around and since they've been in power, because their bill is astronomical. You can't even count it. They need to be judged, and it's going to be the worst judgment of all time. They're going to have double what we got, and even more than that. And so, Lord willing, that was edifying. This is not the last, as that article said, it's not the last uprising that we will see this year. Lord willing, there are many, many, many. And Lord willing, Babylon the Great finally starts to kick this stuff off. But repent, come back to the Lord, get in order, because Yahushua will return soon. So I'd like to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahushua Bahasham, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone, and shalom to the elect of Israel. Shalom.